Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is, whatever time you're listening to this message. I want to jump straight into it. During the week that I haven't been with you and I've been to myself trying to figure out how to get closer to God, how to get a better understanding, how to look forward, how not to be so not how to release so much anxiety from trying to plan on to the future. Because again, being a single parent, being a person that always had to carry yourself, sometimes you find yourself in these situations where God needs you to release and be vulnerable and believe and trust in the fact that He's going to guide you and put you in the positions and places that you need to be in order to move your life forward, to go to the next step, praying, diving deep in prayer, things of that nature. So just getting straight to the point, I want to be first and foremost and just say that whole I lost my job, single mother situation that I was starting out with. Spirit told me like let that go, let that go. That's not gonna work. That's not what we trying to do here. We trying to do something bigger and bolder, and I'm working on it still as we speak. I'm just like I was anxious to just come to you and just tell you like that narrative that's not working. I'm not gonna delete my previous post. It's still gonna be there because again, like I said, full transparency, I'm taking you through this process with me, either if you see the previous videos or not. During this process, I mean, I I've felt really down, and then I turned around and I felt really good. I know in the beginning I was telling you I was going to the gym during the time for just doing that fasting phase time, and then something came on me like go back to the gym because you were doing so much better, and you know I wouldn't say something told me, spirit told me just to go back to the gym. I went back yesterday. I felt really good. I'm like, all right, bet. So I believe like the message, if I'm mistaken with spirit, I believe I'm still into the book of necessary endings. You know, I believe that God is sending me through a process, and He may be sending you through a process of just continuing to understand the things that needs to end, the things that needs to be left behind, friends, jobs, opportunities, and certain things if this not aligned with God trying to do with you. Um, First is we gotta pray to get closer to God, to have that understanding, to be able to know, okay, this is what we got to do. This is what our focus is. If it's you being a teacher, or if it's you being a leader of a group, or whatever it is, whatever you're doing now, is it going to serve that purpose that you have? Sometimes we be like, oh, well, this job is going to finance it, but God has the most money that could ever be touched, that ever be made, that ever be seen. So if God is the provider, then money shouldn't even be the issue. And I'm speaking to myself as I'm talking because once upon a time, I was like, oh, I grew up in a church, and the church that I grew up in is not the same the way that it is now. It's literally, it used to have like 100 members, and it's down. I talked to my mom the other day, she was like 15, so where they're not even going upstairs, they're just ministering and pastoring and delivering the message in the basement to the people that's been there. And it's like, it's saddening to me. So I told y'all in the last video, I'm gonna be somebody. I'm gonna be big. Like I'm gonna speak to people. I'm gonna be on platforms. I'm gonna travel the world. I already know it in Jesus' name that it's gonna happen. So in this process, I just thought about where I started. I was in a youth choir. I was an usher board, usher. Cause my grandma. What I'm saying, like I was all parts of the church itself. So I just wanted to, you know, express that we have to get in alignment with God to understand what our purpose is and what we're going and how we're going about it. Having a job is all cool, but we always find a job and then we always leave. Like I'm good for leaving a job sometimes too. I'm good for like, this ain't working for me. These ain't the times where our grandparents, great grandparents was like, you gotta have this pension and all this other stuff. Like there's so many other ways that we can go ahead and make sure that our future is secure once we come to that age of retirement. It's all on us to be able to know which directions we need to go into, what companies we need to put our money into, what insurance policies to get that we can afford, things of that nature that we can make sure that our future is secure. Um, So again, this last week, it's been another roller coaster, but I think I don't want to, I want to be transparent, but I don't want to dive so deep into a lot of the pain that I felt the past weeks, or we'll talk about the last week because I update you every week. Like, I really felt sad one moment, you know, I really felt down and out. And then another moment, I'm like praying to God. A day I had to just go to sleep. Like I told y'all last week, I'm like, I just gotta go to sleep. Like, because, and that's just because I don't have a job. I have that luxury to go to sleep. If I had to go to work, maybe I had to take a moment out just to pray. And not pray so long so where it's not a two-way conversation, to where I'm praying enough to be able to allow God to give me whatever vision, give me whatever that He needs to get my attention to understand. Oh, okay, so this is what He's saying to me to focus on. I'm learning in my prayers too that don't be so overwhelming. You know, one step at a time. I don't think it's easy to process. God can respond to you to everything that you're asking for, but to take one step at a time is an easier process, because then you can focus on that one answer and one answer only. Like, I struggle with, like, okay, do I move back? Moving back, okay, am I moving back with my child's father because I don't really have it to get my own place? Then I still don't know about what we moving, where we going when we get back to the Chicagoland area. I have no idea. But I did come to, because I realized that when I was like, all right, I'm just give me a 2-bedroom apartment. Me and the kids gonna chill out. You know, and I'm building, work on it from there. And so then, whenever I was planning in that direction, it was bringing more anxiety. And I didn't like that, because I'm throwing away the moments now to get closer to God and get an understanding of what He's doing with my family to take us where we need to go to. So I said, I'm no longer gonna focus on what's gonna happen when we get there. We still have months to go, right? So my lease isn't up until July. It is April. I'm having anxiety about July. And I'm like, okay, there are things that needs to be done in between that I need to pay attention to. I need to have a stronger prayer life. I need to get a closer relationship with God. I need to understand the Bible more the best way that I can, because I believe my next videos, as I continue to go, I'm going to start talking about the Bible and my understanding. Because I read some stuff in Genesis, and that's the first book, when they talking about Abram, who was Abraham, and Sarai, if I'm saying her name wrong, and Sarah. I read that story, and Lord, let me tell y'all, the Bible is something else. And those are certain stories that we just don't talk about. They summarize a lot of it in church, which is why Bible study is important. And I think that is my next calling as I go I learn the Bible with y'all. You know, I want to be able to have that open door to where we talk about certain things, and we learn about certain things, and we express about certain things. We all talking about the same chapter, same book, same verse, things of that nature, but we're able to throw things out there. So, I mean, I'm just bringing these ideas and bringing these things to you, and hopefully, well, there's no hopefully. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. Because I want to connect with you on a different level, you know. I saw something last night, because I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just, man, I broke down crying, just being thankful. I'm just thankful, because coming from the experiences that I came from, I never had a way to where the worry is like null and void. There really isn't a worry. When I looked at one of my credit cards, I was like, wow. Because my limit. And I was like, you know what? I ain't worried about that, you know. Because there was a time when I had other credit cards before, to where I had to use them they went delinquent, things of that nature. I don't think my credit cards are gonna go delinquent in this season of my life. I think that because it's getting close and it's a familiar situation to where I panic and things of that nature, I don't think that it's gonna get to that point to where, you know, I'm gonna have to rebuild my credit all the way over like I had to do before. Um, but still, you know, last night I saw something online and the guy was like, you know, us in our 30s, we had to go through an experience. We had to get high, drink alcohol, have sex, have all these experiences to wake us up to God, to wake us up to understand how real Jesus is, to wake us up. You know, we have to go through these long experiences, which is why I'm opening a platform and I want to speak and I want to talk, because I want to be very transparent and be open to those and speak that into them, that life into them that they may not have tapped into, that they friends may think, oh, you know what I'm saying, and judging like, oh, you lame or whatever the term may be, that it may not be the cool thing to do is to be of God and live of God. But people don't understand, when you start going and living and getting closer to God at a younger age, you're going to accelerate past those Instagram people that's showing you that they live in a certain lifestyle, because really they're working harder. Whereas you have a prayer life and a relationship with God to where God is working hard for you. You not having to work hard. All you got to do is remain faithful, remain prayerful, remain in understanding, you know, that God is the head and the end all be all when it comes down to it, because God is the one that makes everything moves and have everything happen for you as long as you're a faithful servant. Like, I said I was gonna wait for a Bible study, but the book of Genesis, when it's talking about Abraham and Abraham walked, when Abraham left, like, there's people that you're gonna have to leave behind. There are places where you used to grow up with that can't go with you, because God is telling you to go somewhere else, because He's having an assignment on your life to do what you gotta do. So when a dude was talking about like how us in our 30s, how we see, because the Bible teaching is totally different. Like, when I was younger, King James version of the Bible, baby, let me tell you, I wasn't good in social studies because I couldn't understand and register slavery and all the other stuff they was talking about. English wasn't my best because they was too busy worried about my speech, because they said I sounded country. I was living in, Midwest, and I couldn't articulate some words that have a, and to read King James, he, hard, that, low, wow, that, I didn't know what they was talking about. I'm like, I don't even know what they saying. And so that's what my mama, my grandma, my daddy, like, my grandma, my mama, like, if my grandma was alive and my granddaddy did be 100, like, that's the gap in between that, right? So when I used to go to church and they talk, I never understood what they were talking about fully. Now that I have my own version that I can get, um, that I can relate to, you know what I'm saying? I got NLT. So it translates to me for me to understand. So, well, reason why I just kept reading in the book of Genesis, I'm like, what? I'm like, shut up. Like, and just getting that understanding. So, yeah. So overall, I'm leaving the narrative alone. I am going to focus more on reading through the Bible and talking to you about what I learned. I am going to continue to share with you my experience. It's hard. It's hard letting go and letting God. It's really hard. And I pray. I not only pray over me, I pray over y'all. I pray over my family. I pray over everybody, because I don't know what people are going through. I don't have that discernment on me to know who is watching this and what they're going through and what message that they need, because I'm just not there yet. Would I get there? I believe I will get there. I have strong belief that I will get there. But right now, I don't know exactly what you're going through. Whatever that you're going through, you can get through it. I got through things, you can get through it. I got through being an alcoholic and sleeping with random people because my soul just wasn't there. And truth be told, I can't remember a lot of that stuff right now. Truth be told, somebody can come up to me right here. Somebody can come up to me and be like, hey, I know you. And I'll be like, because there was a moment where God was protecting me so much because I just didn't love myself. I didn't have myself. I just wasn't there. Now, trying to make those decisions now is a different conversation. I'm not even touching it. I'm not touching it. I have been protected. And I'm going to continue to talk about that protection. And I was going to try to go into those moms that may be like me. I have ran into a lot of guilt for having children out of wedlock, for having children with different fathers, from those experiences. But those experiences is what made me who I am today. So, sometimes you see online to where people are like, oh, well, a guy wouldn't date you because you got 4 kids. A guy wouldn't date you because you got 3 baby daddies. A guy wouldn't date you. That is perfectly fine. As women, certain age, certain time, we want a relationship, we want to be married. That's all cool. You can want that, that's fine. But I think those wants can be fulfilled once you fulfill and start moving in the nature that God wants you to move into. So my focus isn't really a relationship. My focus is my calling. My focus is moving in the direction that God wants me to move into. Because guarantee you, hands down, there's somebody that's gonna walk into my path and be like, I need her in my life. God definitely made her for me. And then I'll be ready. I don't think I'll be ready for anybody if I'm not ready with God. Because then I could be in circles and be in places, be in vicinities that knows that God comes first. See, a lot of people talk and be like, oh yeah, I pray, I put God first. But then when you start talking to them about certain things, it kind of show where their faith is or where their alliance is with God. Some people haven't went through some things that you've experienced or been exposed to where you like, I need to, God gotta feed me. God gotta feed me. Some people never had that experience, which is fine. There's nothing against it. But I don't see where I could connect on a level, because I want my man to pray over me. I want my man to pray with me. I want to be able to go to my man and be like, listen, I am having a hard time, for my man to be like, oh, don't worry about it. We're finna pray about it and give it to God. I want that type of encouragement from my man. So only way I can get that encouragement from my man is until I get myself together to be encouraged, because I'm still gonna be a human. I'm not gonna be perfect once I'm walking in the line of God. I'm not gonna be perfect. I'm still going to have wants and needs, not in a physical way, in a mental and spiritual way. So I was so thirsty to come out here and talk to y'all. I really didn't have a narrative or direction of things. All it was that I just wanted to say, I'm done talking about that single mother, no job, da-da-da-da. Oh, and here's I know last week I said I did that interview. They didn't accept me, which is fine. I told y'all that comes with the process of getting rejected. But again, that rejection still opens the door. Uh-oh, here comes my 1-year-old. That rejection still opens the door for the opportunity to understand that God works in his way, and his way is the only way. And if it's not beneficial to him, then there is no need. So I'm gonna let y'all go because my 1-year-old is up. Y'all hear Teletubbies in the background.